Hello, hello, hello. This is Tanya for Soulful Sundays. We are doing not a live, but a live recorded video for this Sunday's Soulful Sundays. I am going to be not preaching, but teaching and giving you some knowledge and understanding about surrendering and how we oftentimes forget what it truly is to surrender. So I'm writing. These are actually my notes that I am sharing with you for what surrendering is and what it means to the process of growing and evolving and learning and awakening. So thank you for joining me. This is Coach Tanya. I am your personal coach, your coach for awakening. I deal with trauma recovery, relationships, love, spirituality, intuitiveness, and just learning and growing. What I'm learning is that I help people to become comfortable with who they are. And not only that, but to become comfortable with their purpose in life, but to also become comfortable with becoming vulnerable to the reality of that life and who you are. So because becoming vulnerable is that's difficult for a lot of people to do. It is very difficult for people to sit up and open themselves up to, in a raw manner at that, open themselves up to other people because they've been hurt so many times, because they've been lied to, or they've been betrayed, or they've been mocked, or been treated some type of way that makes them develop the sense that they cannot trust, or that they cannot be able to be who they are, or whatever it is that they want to do. It takes a lot to show somebody that you are who you are, and it's okay to be who you are, because people would try to use and abuse your kindness. They would try to use and abuse your goodness. They would try to use and abuse you. And in order to stop that is to surrender to the process of whatever it is that your life is taking you through, whatever it is that comes along with the journey of being you. Surrendering is completely letting go of all of your faculties and allowing what is greater than you to match the energy of yourself and your power to manifest that shall be of your higher self. So it's, in other words, letting go of control and allowing whatever is going to happen without you worrying, but still working and keeping your eye on the prize. Now, surrendering for me took a long, painstaking, that's a good word, tumultuous, another good word, long drawn out, a long suffering time, because I could not understand how to let go of the control. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that letting go meant that it just literally meant letting the fuck go. It literally meant letting go. It literally meant stop worrying. It literally meant stop trying to control. It literally meant stop trying to predict what the outcome was. Stop worrying about what would happen if this didn't happen, or worrying about who would say something about that if this didn't happen, worrying about what would be the outcome of you not doing something. Just surrendering is just giving in to the power of who you are. And when we cannot surrender, then that is simply saying that there are three things that I'm going to talk about that you just don't know how to do, don't want to do, or are trapped in the thought of something that's pertaining negatively about doing it. So those three things are three reasons why we don't know how to surrender. We're going to talk about them, and I'm going to talk about my own experience in not being able to surrender and the outcome of it, and then the process of going through everything, like literally everything that was so fucking unnecessary. That's the killing part. All of the things that we do out of these three things take us to the end of the road that is unnecessary. It takes us to a place where we don't need to be. It's not healthy. It's not productive. It destroys our connectedness. Yesterday I talked about grounding and the connectedness that you share with the universe. Doing these three things takes away from that connectedness. You know, it takes away from us being able to surrender. You know, it takes away from us being able to surrender whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing. Because if you can't surrender, if you can't let go of that control of allowing whatever it is that's going to happen, then you're always going to be stuck in these three things. So what are these three things? The first one is fearfulness. You are always stuck in the fact that something is scaring you. Something is not going to work. Something is not going to be in your control. Something is not going to be where you want it to be. Something is not going to have your grips on it. Something is not going to be manipulated by you. Something is not that it's not going to be inspired by you or just whatever, anything related to you. It has nothing to do with that. Because whatever it is, when you're surrendering, whenever it is that is to be shall be. And when you try to grip it with fear, even with fear is gripping something that you're trying to control something. Even being scared to let go is you trying to control something that is greater than you, that you are scared of. And what is it? What is it? That is the question you need to be asking. You need not be trying to submit to the fear. You need to be asking the fear, what am I scared of? Challenge yourself. Because somewhere in your life, you were let down constantly. You could never be the hero of something. You were told that you weren't good enough. You were stopped in your tracks at every thought that you may have had. Somewhere somebody mocked you or laughed at you and made you feel like you weren't good enough. Somewhere you developed the sense that no, whatever it is that I'm feeling is not good enough, so I'm scared. Because my idea is not good enough. It's not going to work. It's been shut up so many times. It's been shut down so many times. It's been discouraged. It's been dismotivated, if that's a word. It's been distracted from. It's been put on hold. It's been taunted. It's been chopped up. It's been chewed up. It's been spit out. It's been spoken on negatively. It's been put on hold. It's not manifesting. It's not doing something. Because the fear is gripping you. That fear is gripping you. And if you continue to allow that fear to grip you, then you won't be able to surrender to whatever it is that's calling you, whatever it is that you were created for. You cannot allow what happened to continue to control what is and what shall be. Because if you do, you'll continue to control what is and what shall be. It works both ways. That is why we have the power and the ability through ourselves, through our own free will, through our own wisdom, through our own knowledge, through our own understanding, that is why it's important to learn. You have to learn. And when you learn, it takes away from the fear because it gives you knowledge and it gives you something different to stand on it instead of the broken promises or the false lies or the portrayed parents promises, or whatever it is that's holding you back, whatever it is that rejected you so long ago, taking away from that the knowledge of truth of who you are, which is surrendering to yourself and listening to whatever it is your soul is telling you, it takes away that fear. It takes away that fear, because that fear is gripping you because you have no new information to put in your mind to think about. You have nothing new in your mind about yourself that you have put into you. Because you're so gripped by that fear. You're so gripped that you're not good enough. You're so gripped that somebody told you that you were ugly. You're so gripped that somebody told you that you wasn't smart enough. You're so gripped that somebody told you that you couldn't make it. You're so gripped that somebody told you that you weren't loved. You're so gripped that somebody told you that because you were a woman, you couldn't do it. You're so gripped that somebody told you that you just couldn't do something that you know goddamn well you can do. But you've been gripped by the fear that has been conditioned in your mind. And because it has been conditioned in your mind, you are fearful and you have nothing else to contrast it to. So challenge yourself to do something different. Challenge yourself to do something different. And because you'll do something different, you'll begin to see that there are more things out there than what the fear has been lying to you about in the first place. So that's one of the reasons why you're challenged with surrendering. Number 2, you feel unsafe. Somewhere when you were a child, and all of what I do talks about dealing the works of when you were a child, childhood trauma, childhood pain, everything stems from the childhood. And then once you get in tap with what happened to you before, it's going to continue to repeatedly happen to you until you deal with it. You're going to always have those feelings manifested into your reality because those feelings are eating you up inside. You feel unsafe, so you'll always continue to be in unsafe environments. You'll always be placed where you feel abandoned, because if you're not connected, and again, I talked about grounding and connecting to the universe. If you're not connected to the universe, you're never going to feel safe. Whatever it is that you're chasing, whatever it is that you're running from, whatever it is that you're hiding, whatever it is that you need so bad in order for you to feel safe in this world, in order for you to trust who you are and trust your instincts and trust your knowledge and trust your understanding of what it is that you know about yourself already, and whatever it is that you know about the world, because whatever it is, you definitely have to understand. And understanding it puts you under a different place of thinking. Again, it takes away the fear, and it takes away it puts you under a different level of thinking, and it allows you to be able to do something different for yourself. It allows you to push yourself, to challenge yourself, to do something great for yourself. And if you can do something great for yourself, then you can honor who you are, and you can trust who you are, and you can be able to surrender to whatever it is that's going on inside of your awakening. What is awakening in your mind? What is pushing you? What is making you want to do better? What is making you want to be better? What is making you want to allow your your faculties to let go to something greater that's beyond yourself? Because the life that you're living is no longer working for you. It doesn't make sense. Your realities are not making sense like they used to. It is time for you to surrender. It is time for you to understand that letting go of that fear and feeling safe with nature. And again, I talked about grounding and connecting. Do things that make you feel close to nature. Because somewhere you were abandoned when you were young, and somebody told you that you weren't important. Somebody told you that in order for you to feel loved by them, that you had to do something, that there was a condition to their love, that you had to go the extra mile, that you had to prove something to them, that they could not give you what you needed, which was love and affection and attention, and you were not good enough for that because you didn't do something for them. And I was just talking to somebody yesterday and talking about my father, and when I was about 12 years old, and my dad and I used to take these family trips. And every year we would take these trips. And this particular year, we had just moved, and I had a challenge childhood. As if you read about me and you follow me and you know that I was molested as a kid and raped as a teenager and things like that. And my daddy called me the dumbest child in the world because I did something foolish, but at the same time, he did as well by giving me the responsibility of doing something that he should have done himself. giving me the responsibility of doing something that he should have done himself. And because he did not do that, he was placing himself in a situation to where he would entertain his negative thoughts and his negative thinking and his insecurities and his fears. And he wouldn't know how to communicate to me that he was upset that I didn't want to go with him. So because I did this something stupid, he called me the dumbest child in the world. Or because I did something that was a mistake, because I made a mistake, he didn't understand how to communicate due to his lack of maturity emotionally and his inability to connect and to be grounded with the university and understand the things that I'm understanding, because he definitely didn't understand any of those things. And if he did, he fought the process like so many of us did, like I used to do, that so many of you are probably doing, because you do feel unsafe. You have been told that there are conditions that you have to put before you can receive the love that you want from somebody that you expect, that you just freely love. You know, my father calling me the dumbest child in the world, I just pursued that. I ran from that. And that is why I got 2 college degrees and I've got this and I've got that. That shit don't mean shit. Because I'm telling you, when I walked across the stage with that college degree from the University of Michigan, which I'm proud of and I'm not knocking it. Don't get me wrong, because I went through it and I earned that motherfucking degree. Shit. I have my degree in behavioral science. I love my specialty in psychology, working with families and people with mental illness or people with difficulties, and then religious studies and understanding the universe and understanding myself and understanding what it is. Because I've always been fascinated with understanding people and why they do what they do. Because I didn't understand my mom and daddy. Like literally, they marriage was so damn toxic. I didn't understand that. It didn't make no sense. Why the hell y'all sitting up arguing with each other? And y'all know motherfucking well y'all can't stand each other. But they loved each other. That ain't love, goddammit. And even if it is love displayed in the wrong way, find a new way to display it, because that ain't right. I told my mother, why did you stay with my father when he treated you so bad? Because money, used to, security for the kids, all excuses. Is fear. It was fear-based. She was scared to be who she was because she probably didn't know who she was. My mother's 84, about to be 85. Living in those days when she was young, you scared to be who you were. You scared you might get killed. You scared, and I understand that, but learning to grow and using your own faculties and feeling safe with the world. My mother, now she was grounded with religion. We did have Allah. We did understand that there was a greater power, and she did understand that she had some powers. My mother tapped into her powers. I won't give her like she just didn't know something. She tapped into her powers. She just didn't fully embrace them and know what they were. She didn't own what they were to a capacity where she could pass them fully down to all of us and share with us in a healthy manner to where we can learn and grow from it, which I'm just recently learning from myself for my kids, and I'm learning them, and I've been teaching my children the things that I learned. I let my kids see my struggle. I let my kids see me go through things. I let them see that human is human and mistakes is mistakes, and if you keep making the same motherfucking mistakes, you're going to keep getting the same motherfucking results, period. And my son is 8, and he can tell you that. You can go do what you want to do, son. It is your life. I will guide you in the right direction. But ultimately, at 8 years old, he knows what is right or wrong. And he knows that Allah or the universe, he knows about the universe, and he knows about the God within himself. He knows that if you do something wrong, that something wrong might come back to you. It might not. It might not this time. But he also knows that if you do something right, something wrong might come back onto you. It might not. It might this time. It might not. But you're feeling unsafe because you were told that you were not good enough. You were told that there was something that you had to do. And no, with the universe, you have to understand that surrendering means you don't have to do nothing. That's all you got to do is surrender. That's all you got to do. That is your tiptoes over the cliff. Surrendering is your tiptoes over the cliff. The fearfulness and the unsafety is your tiptoes over the cliff. Surrendering is you releasing and jumping off that cliff. Those grips of those toes over the cliff. These 3 things, fearfulness and feeling unsafe. You don't have to put a condition on your love for the universe, for yourself, for God, for the greater power, for the source that created you. There is no condition. He has no condition but surrender to him. He wants you at this time to surrender and trust him totally and completely. This is a time for total trust, complete trust, and no matter what the fuck it looks like. And I'm talking about dirty grind, just look dirty, just, whoo, just dirty. Dirty grind. Don't look like nothing about to happen, about to turn off, turn up, nothing. But guess what it is? Because God is asking for extreme faith. He is asking for radical faith. He is asking for your soul to trust him. Do something you have never done before. If you have never trusted him completely, if you have never trusted anything completely, the universe is asking you to open your heart up to trust completely, to trust completely. To trust completely, totally and completely, with nothing wavering, nothing. And I mean nothing, because as soon as you waver,